We all like to save money, right? I'm going to tell you how it is possible that you could save at least $75,000 by designing accessibly. Meet Guillermo. Guillermo is hungry. So he pulls out his phone, opens up the Domino's Pizza app, and tries to order a pizza. And yeah, Guillermo is having some issues on the Domino's website. Thing is, he's blind and he can't just use the website like a sighted person can. And he certainly doesn't want to get somebody else's help, but for some reason, the screen reader isn't working with this website. And it didn't work on his phone and it didn't work on his desktop. When Guillermo complained about it to Domino's, Domino's response was basically, there are other ways that you can order a pizza. Why don't you use one of those ways? I mean, that's not really fair, is it? So Guillermo sued Domino's for being non-508 compliant. This is Maria. She is already an incredible accessible design superhero. She firmly believes that visually impaired people who need to use screen readers should also have an equally awesome experience on websites. As of 2018, at least as far as I could tell in my research, she brought forth more than 30 lawsuits against a whole bunch of online retailers for violating the Americans with Disabilities Act, including places like Burger King and Five Guys. And this is Mary. Mary is blind, like our other friends, and she dreams of being able to get to a Beyonce concert someday. But until then, she decided to go to Beyonce's website to listen to music and maybe buy a few things from the store. However, Beyonce's site was absolutely impossible to navigate. And screen readers couldn't announce everything because there wasn't any alt text and things like that. So Mary sued Parkwood Entertainment in January of 2019. In fact, even now, Beyonce.com is an absolute hot mess and completely not 508 compliant. Also, it's just really poorly designed overall. You want to see it? And okay, so here we are at Beyonce.com. And now I'm going to turn on my voiceover so that you can experience the full glory of the inaccessibility of this website. Now, in theory, this is what should happen. The first tab should take you to, I mean, if it goes to the logo first, that's not a big deal. But the next thing should be a link to skip to the main content so that you don't have to listen to everything in the main navigation every single time you go to a page. And then I expect it to go to the navigation immediately after.
Entering Beyonce web content. Visited link.
Logo.
Home. Banner. Crop search. Group. Banner. You are search text field. Blank. You are currently on link. The gift. Deluxe edition. Stream the gift. Chrome has new window.
That's 4 clicks, 4 tabs.
Main navigation. Navigation. You are currently on a navigation inside of web content. To interact with items in this group, press Control, Option, Shift, Link. Skip to main content. List 10 items.
Why
Chrome
is that inside the main navigation? I don't know.
Menu pop-up collapsed. Visited link. Music.
Okay. Oh.
Banner. Visited link. Home.
This
search.
is gonna run
group,
through.
Search text field. Blank. Link. Main navigation. Navigation. You are currently on a link. Album songs.
Okay.
List 6 items.
So
Chrome
this is
has new
interesting.
window.
It's going through links. Hold on. Okay, if I hover over that album, it tells me what the album title is, the year that it was released, and then links to the songs, videos, gallery, credits, lyrics, and to buy that album.
Link. Album video. Chrome. Link. Album gallery. You are current. Link. Album credits. You are currently
Still
on a
don't
link.
know what album
To
I'm
click
on.
This link.
If I
album
can't
lyrics.
see.
You are currently on a link. To click link. Buy at link. Album
Okay.
songs. List 6 items. You are link. Album video. Link. Album gallery. Link. Album credits. Link. Album lyrics. You are link. By album. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control. Link. Album. Link. Album. Link. Album. Gap. Link. 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 Album songs. List 6 items.
There is no way for someone who is depending on the voiceover to tell you where you are. There's absolutely zero way to tell what album you're on. That's a big problem.
You are currently
images,
on a link.
okay.
Link. Vault performance images.
I expect a whole
Chrome
hell
has
of a
new
lot of
window.
alt text here.
Link. BAT 38. Article. BAT 3811. Article. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press
Oh
Control.
my god,
Option,
this
space.
is so bad. Like, not only is there no alt text on any of these images, it's not even tabbing in the order in which I expect it to.
Link.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this is also... I have a sneaking suspicion that this is one of those infinite scroll pages, which means if you get deep into this using the keyboard, you're never going to get out. Okay, what if I hit enter?
Banner. Visited. Link. Home. Search. Group. Search tab. Link. Main net. Link. Sarah on Facebook. List. Link.
It skips
Sarah on
over the
Twitter.
picture. Just turn off the voiceover. Just turn it off. I'm not going to torture you with that anymore. Because what you really want to know is how to save $75,000. And what the heck am I talking about anyway? How can I save $75,000 by designing accessibly? Here's the thing. Each of these people that we just talked about, Guillermo, Maria, Mary, and countless other people, they just want to be able to order something online. And they want to do it without having to ask a sighted friend to help them. They're hungry for more than just pizza. I think they want the same independence that a lot of other human beings have and that we take for granted. Those websites weren't presenting an equal opportunity for people who need alternate ways to navigate a website. So where does this whole legal money thing come into play? The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination based on disability. Okay, so for a website to be compliant with the ADA, that it has to be accessible to people who browse the web with assistive devices. If your website isn't accessible to people with disabilities, it's not compliant with the law. Because of how the legislation is written, having a website that is not accessible to everyone will be interpreted as active discrimination. And if you're actively discriminating against people with disabilities, you are at risk to be sued. It's that simple. Now, I hesitated to actually make this video for a couple of reasons, because I don't ever want to use this information as my first reason to justify making a design accessible. We should be promoting and advocating for empathetic thinking first. We should be designing accessibly first because it is the right thing to do. Another really important point that I want to make is that not everyone who experiences issues with inaccessible design is disabled, and vice versa. Not everyone who is disabled experiences issues with inaccessible design. However, I need to make it clear that when you design accessibly, you benefit everyone. Go watch my video called Design for Your Hungover Self to understand that a little bit better. All right, now, all of that being said, there can be legal and financial ramifications if you get called out for being inaccessible. Fines for the first violation are $55,000 to $75,000 US. And a second violation could end up running you an additional $150,000 in fines. Right, those who receive federal funding could have those funds revoked for being non-compliant. Let that sink in. start designing accessibly first. If you start with accessibility first, once you're in that mindset, it's just another one of those design principles that automatically comes to play. You're not spending extra time or money. It's just part of the process. Having it as part of your process and testing for it, whether you're testing a website or you're testing a presentation, test for it. If you know somebody else who uses assistive technology, if you know someone who is colorblind, if you know someone who is deaf or hard of hearing, pull them in, ask them to be a tester for you every once in a while. Have them help you understand what you're designing and how whatever it is may or may not be, hard to use. And if you incorporate that in from the very beginning, you can avoid fines. You can avoid being sued for being inaccessible if you're designing accessibly from the beginning. So like I said, I don't like to bring up the threat of fiduciary liability. I don't like bringing up the threat of, legal action. I'm not that kind of person, but let's face it, Americans are very litigious. Let's save ourselves, not the fines, let's save ourselves losing government funding. Let's save ourselves the legal headaches and the anger and the frustration and just put it in your process. Make it part of your process. It's really, honest to God, it's not that hard. It's really not. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I find it really important that everyone is aware. And the laws I'm talking about right now are United States-based laws. I would love to hear if you have any information about laws outside of the US that pertain to accessibility. If you like this content, consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification, liking this video. It'll help me out. And have a wonderful day.